I mean, you probably can tell, Darksiders, right from the thumbnail that this one was a struggle for me. Had a hard time getting through it. I mean, literally, Darksiders, I was sleeping during it. I don't mean that figuratively. I mean, like, no, I was asleep. I had to watch it twice. Couldn't get through it the first time. This was definitely my least favorite episode of Loki. This will have mild spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen it, so you are forewarned. The biggest problem with me with this episode was the story build. I felt like it was a little bit weak. It certainly felt like a filler episode, and it did seem like an episode to establish the relationship between Loki and Sylvie. I know there is a whole bunch of fan theory as to whether or not this is the Sylvia who is Enchantress, or is this the Loki variant. Who knows? We don't really know enough to know what's going on there, and you really can't even look at what's going on in the comics because you know Marvel will change stuff on us. You know that. They don't necessarily follow the script. So we are still up in the air about that. But the story build here is the problem. This thing could have easily been much better if it was 30 minutes long. I felt like it was drawn out. I felt like we had a whole story, a whole almost 45 minutes of them running around trying to figure out how they're going to repower this device so that they can get out of that cataclysmic event. Now, I don't know why we needed 45 minutes for that, and I do think that it's weak that we have a story that's built around this device becoming depowered and they get stuck. That seems overly convenient to me. And also just the dynamic between those two as they dialogue in this is not really interesting. I understand it's a setup for those two to kind of learn more about each other, and we learn more about her and we learn more about the two of them as individual Lokis or variants, if you will, but it just wasn't interesting enough to pace it out at 40 something minutes. So that was the biggest problem I had with this. It's really interesting because what I've seen so far now from the 3 episodes that we've had, Darksiders, is that the TVA needs to be involved for this story to be much more interesting, because what we saw today didn't have a strength of story enough to make this show really interesting to me. But when the TVA is involved, it's much more interesting to me because their part in this story build, I feel like, is centralized. So I'm not sure if we're going to get much more standalone stories that we've gotten here. I would think not. I think the story was really setting us up to move us forward through the next couple of episodes of this first season of Loki, but I really had a hard time really getting into this story because I just didn't find it interesting. Not to say that there was not a lot of stuff in there to see. I'm sure there were a lot of Easter eggs. I did not enjoy this episode a whole bunch. I'm not going to say any more than that. I will be on a live stream later on tonight. We're going to get into that more. It's not on this channel. It is on another channel. I will put that link in the description below, and you all can join me there later, and we'll get into more detail, and we're going to talk some other stuff as well. But hey, listen, that's my take on episode 3 of Loki. Let me know if I'm wrong here. Let me know if you all loved it, and if you did love it, drop a comment. Why? Educate me. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.